Ta-da! Can you hear me?
How we doing?
We're doing good. Can you hear me good?
Yeah, thanks for clearing that up for me. My office kind of got messed up with the time zones.
Well, good. I was hoping this wouldn't mess everything up.
No, we're good. It's good to speak
Okay.
to you.
All right. So, Jesse James Dupree coming to Western Oklahoma on Saturday. Are you pretty excited to be at the Sugar Creek?
We it's been a little bit since we've been in the Oklahoma state and close to Oklahoma City. So yeah, we're very excited. They have a Jackyl family reunion, and the casino. I hear they get that. I mean, everything I've heard, they've got a great setup over there, and including a little gambling. So I'm sure we'll get in all kind of trouble.
Sometimes they do karaoke after. Are you going to do any karaoke? Well,
Karaoke. You know what? I'm gonna get everything I got. Who knows what could happen after the show? Anything, game on, anything after that.
whenever you guys are doing a lot of traveling, is there any unofficial or unspoken rules about touring? Like whenever you guys are doing stuff, is there any rules nobody says out loud, but everybody needs to follow?
Well, as far as in the band,
Yeah.
oh, you know what? I mean, I guess there's probably hundreds of unspoken rules, but because I mean, it's just like when you're at home with your family, or a family reunion happens or something. There's kind of some unspoken rules about, you don't sit on Uncle Bob's, lap, that kind of. So there's all kind of rules like that. You catch Roman when he's had one too many drinks. You don't sit on his lap either. But there's just something that comes with a band that's been together as long as we have, and we have so much fun together. I mean, it's been a hell of a ride. We're celebrating 30 years this year since the first Jackyl album, and we got a brand new song that we just released about a month or so ago called "Get All Up in It," and it's been doing great. And I mean, the video on YouTube's already heading toward 400,000 views just in a short time. It's a fun video. And then we got a new single that drops in a week or so that's called "Another Round Coming in Hot." And
Okay.
and when I tell you it's a ball buster rock, straight up rock song, I'm very excited about it. And summer of 2022, it's the perfect song to get out there.
Now, anyone Saturday going to get to hear a taste of any of these?
Yeah, we'll play both of them on Saturday,
Okay.
and as well as everything you expect. We've actually went back and pulled. I mean, reflecting over 30 years of the band, we're covering a lot of ground, and it's one of the shows where you don't come and see the Jackyl show. Never has been about coming to see the Jackyl show. It's about coming to be part of it.
Yeah.
So so there's a equal responsibility on the bunch that's coming out there with us to be ready to throw down and get so worked up and get those glands stimulated, and you don't even make it back home before you have to pull the car over on the side of the road, jump in the back seat, and knock out the old dirty.
That is excellent. Looking back on the last 30 years that you mentioned, is there any memory that sticks out, just real loud and proud that, when you look back, just immediately that memory comes to mind? Is there any like that?
There's so many.
Good or bad? Good or bad?
Yeah, there's so many of them. I mean, really there is. And, really at this point in time, I think about, and what immediately comes to mind when you say 30 years is I think about, in the very beginning when we were struggling to try to get, noticed and signed to a record contract, and we were living on $6 a day on the days that we played.
Yeah.
And we all lived in one motel room out in Los Angeles for a couple of weeks, and I dealt everybody their $6 a day out, and we were eating 3 for a dollar hot dogs and hamburgers from the AM PM convenience stores. And so if you want to ask me today, what I immediately think about, I think about how blessed we've been, and how we don't take anything for granted. I mean, every single show at Madison Square Gardens, and we got a brand new album dropping on August the 12th, and it's called Jackyl 30 Coming in Hot, and it's a fun record because there's 3 brand new songs on it, and then we put a live concert behind that. So we cover the 30 years live, which is what we've always been about, but we got 3 brand new studio recordings that are just some crunchy, really cool, fun stuff. So,
I recently became a fan of the Lumberjack song. Sorry, I just like a few years ago, like a couple of years ago, heard this song. I'm sure you've answered this question a million times, but how did that even come about?
But just what a more definitive instrument for rock and roll. It's a, chainsaw is loud, it's aggressive, it's destructive, it's stanky, it's everything that rock and roll should be. And I mean, my question back to you is why not? You know,
Yeah.
but what took somebody so long? What took somebody so long to do it, right?
Yeah,
And
I think you're the only one still that's done it.
well, it's not for the faint of heart. I mean, if you're, I'll tell you a funny story. We've been doing this for 30 plus years with the band, and we were playing a show recently, and the drummer's son is a drummer as well. And so the drummer's, actually, it's the guitar player's son is a drummer, and so which Chris and Jeff are brothers, the drummer and the guitar player. So Jeff's son, the drummer, was back behind Chris, and we started playing the lumberjack, and Chris handed the sticks to Jeff's son. So for the first time in all these years, Chris wasn't behind the drum kit. So I wasn't going to let him off easy. I pulled Chris out on the stage, and I handed him the chainsaw. And, and you should have seen the look on his face, because even after all these years, he did not realize what it takes to harness that thing.
Yeah.
And even afterward, his adrenaline was flowing, and he was going, man, that thing is, he just tripped out. After all these years, he got a chance to see what I deal with every single night with that thing. And so, yeah, it's not for the faint of heart, and you better be ready to get all up in it.
I know that you guys, listen to a lot of different music and a lot of different bands, but is there a band or artist you listen to that folks would probably be surprised to know?
Well, I mean, I grew up listening to Johnny Cash and Waylon Jennings and just all the, believe it or not, I mean, I was raised on real hardcore real country music. And, and then beside that, I grew up loving, and I learned how to sing by mimicking, the likes of James Brown, Wilson Pickett, Joe Tex. I got you. Thought you got away now, didn't you? Well, now, Gilly, here, come on. All those great,
Yes.
that invented this stuff. And so, yeah, it's, although it's obvious, maybe you hadn't thought that that's what I listen to.
What, speaking of being a kid, what did you want to be when you grew up, when you were a kid? Did you want to be a rock star?
I don't necessarily know about a rock star. I think what I wanted to not be was I wanted to not have to pour concrete my whole life.
Okay.
I wanted not to have to drive nails in frame houses my whole life. And I actually, in one way, I miss doing that stuff, because at the end of the day, you could see the fruits of your labor. I mean, there was a building in front of you that wasn't there when you came in, Mm-hmm. And I'll go back and do it again if that's what it takes to feed my babies. But I think I used to look at my hands cracked with the sulfur and the calluses, and I was trying to play guitar, and my hands would be beat all the hell. And I'd say, one day I'm just going to be able to make music and do stuff. But now I have the Jesse James bourbon. The Jesse James bourbon's doing really great. The honey bourbon, the regular bourbon, the Devil's Devil cinnamon whiskey. I mean, if you haven't tried that, the Devil's Devil, I mean, it'll light you up.
Okay.
And so I've got all of that there in Oklahoma. And RNDC, Republic National, RNDC, they're my distributor. So any store, any restaurant, any bar that wants to bring in the Jesse James bourbon products or the Devil's Devil cinnamon whiskey can call RNDC and get it in if they don't already have it. But so I'm proud to be doing that. I've got the Full Throttle Saloon in Pappy Hoyle Campground up here in Sturgis. We're getting ready for 1 million people to descend on us for the Sturgis Motorcycle Rally. This is the 82nd year of the Sturgis Motorcycle Rally. And so it's going to be an incredible event. We'll have 1 million people here in the next 2 weeks. And I'm going to hug every one of them's neck. And then Jackyl's going to play its 30th anniversary show in Sturgis.
Okay, so I have a few just kind of quick fire questions, if you will, that I don't know if you've ever been asked these kind of questions, but I think these are the most fun. Okay.
Are you wearing pants?
Yes, I'm wearing pants.
Okay, then that changes the angle I'll take at this.
I have to have pants off for you to answer some of these, right?
Yeah. So if you want to take a few minute break and run and take, then I'm not wearing pants right now.
Okay, well, let's see what I'll get away with. I'll ask you, and you can say whether you want to answer or not. All right. What movie you watched as a kid completely traumatized you?
Traumatized?
Yeah, like when you look back, you're like, oh my God, that ruined me.
Pink Flamingos.
What? That's a movie?
Pink Flamingos, John Waters. It's one of the cult movie, one of the
Okay.
greatest movies of all time. I'll say it traumatized me. It greatly influenced me, but it'll try. If you watch Pink Flamingos, and I invite you to go watch Pink Flamingos, John Waters, who's a famous, he did Hairspray and he's done all the, John Waters, he's a legendary cult guy. But back in the 70s, I guess it was, he borrowed $10,000 from his parents in Baltimore, and he made the most raunchiest movie. It's about a family that wants to be the nastiest family in the world, and they compete against another family. Connie and Raymond Marvels is who they compete against.
You watched this as a kid?
I watched this repeatedly, and it should explain to you why I'm like I am. If you get a chance, go watch Pink Flamingos. Divine, you don't know who Divine is? The drag queen guy, Divine, famous Divine. I mean, played in the movie with Johnny Depp and them. I think Johnny Depp was in the movie. Ricky Lake was in one of them with her. But legendary guy. Go watch Pink Flamingo. It will blow your mind.
Okay, if you got arrested with no explanation to your family and friends, what would they assume you got arrested for?
Probably indecent exposure.
I was going to say, I probably take a guess with you being pantsless currently. What movie would greatly be improved if it were made into a musical?
What movie would greatly improve if it was made into a musical? Deep Throat.
Okay. What show have you binge watched embarrassingly fast?
As far as TV shows?
Yeah. Like, is there a show that you're like obsessed and it's like, man, I watched that way too fast?
That's, I don't know about watching too fast, but I will put it on old Andy Griffith. I'll find a network that has a cable channel that has the old Mayberry shows.
Yeah.
And I'll watch those, and I've seen them a million times, and I cannot get enough of Andy and Barney.
That's good to know. All right. What is your favorite smell?
My favorite smell. Good God. I mean, if you didn't have pants on, we could talk about that. If I'm going to keep it rated, PG-13, I'd have to say my bourbon. When I go into the distillery and I open up a 5 or a 7-year-old barrel of Jesse James Tennessee whiskey, that smell of that aged whiskey is like heaven.
Okay.
And it probably would run a really close second place to the other thing we were talking about. So.
Okay. What is a conspiracy theory that you believe in? And you can believe it. I love conspiracy theories. I think they're great. I'd love all of them. And so that's why I'm always curious as to ask everybody, what's a conspiracy theory that you're like, no, I think this is happening?
Well, I think we're all witnessing. I don't know any Republican or Democrat. I think the walls are getting broke down right now in today's time. I believe everybody, and I know some of the Democrats, and again, I believe they're all full of crap. But I'll just say that I believe even I had a friend, I swear to God, the guy, the head of security, said he's going to vote Republican for the first time ever, which I don't think is going to solve a damn problem either. But I believe that the conspiracy theory that I think that we're going to find out is the truth is that everybody, and unfortunately the Democrat side of things, or maybe not even just the Democrat, but the people that got their feelings hurt by Trump. And again, and I'm not a Trump fan, so I'm not polarized.
Right.
I think that history is going to show that America got the damn the wool pulled over its eyes by the media. And I don't think it's a conspiracy theory. I truly think that our what we call our news outlets, which are not news anymore, that died with Walter Cronkite. But I think we're all nobody. And I saw a poll the other 80 plus people of Democrats and Republicans. Nobody trusts any of the outlets anymore.
Oh, yeah.
And so conspiracy was that the media was weighing the election. And if even if they say the election wasn't skewed because of fraudulent votes and all that stuff, the election was hijacked by a really corrupt news outlets. And Fox News did it just as bad as CNN. Because it's so polarizing. If you truly believe that all the Democrats believe for abortion and all the Republicans are against it, it's not like that. The truth is in the middle. Everybody's got, but yet we're allowed to be polarized. And so you just got me off on a serious note. But if you ask me about a conspiracy theory, I believe we're living in it right now. And I just pray to God that when it comes time, and I know January 6th is a sensitive subject, but I mean this in the truest of most organized and legal manners. But when it comes time to march back on Pennsylvania Avenue and figure out how to get this country back in the people's control, I want to be on everybody out there on that's listening to us now, because I believe real America still exists. Somebody's just got to speak up and tap into it.
Now, you mentioned news and media, and you have something to do with Media Mixer. Tell me a little bit more about what Mixer is and the beta testing. And I don't know enough about to know. I think I read that it was TV and radio coming together. Or give me some more insight on that, on what that is that you're starting.
About 15 years ago, being self-managed and in the music business, and I was coming into powerhouse radio stations like yourself, and I'd come into the radio stations, and I was hearing about how hard it was to get research, because with cell phones coming out, they would have to, and because of the laws of not soliciting the cell phones, the radio station would have to call 250,000 landlines to find 300 premium listeners.
Yeah.
And so I invented a hop for some patents, and I was able to get the patents. And I now have a proprietary back-end research platform that plugs into radio and television. And
that is really cool.
Yeah. And it gives program directors real-time research. They're able to sit at their desk and watch the score and the burn of a song in real time. And the listeners get points for giving input, and they're able to cash those points in for trips to go see, Metallica in California, right, or Tim McGraw somewhere, or they're able to cash them in to win a motorcycle or whatever. We do a lot of cool stuff with it.
That is really interesting, because in radio, it is so hard to know how any of it's going.
Yeah. I mean, it's an interesting concept to just have an honest, integrity-based relationship with your listeners, and not hide. You don't want to hide cookies in their phones and in computers and all that stuff.
Right.
You want to be honest. You want a permission-based relationship to where you find out what they like. I mean, why do you want to send them information about Pink playing in town somewhere if all they want to hear is Five Finger Death Punch and Rob Zombie and whatever, So so you're able to learn what they're into and what they like. I mean, if they like pizzas and stuff, and you got a great pizza promotion going on. If I don't like pizza, so why do I want to open an email from you about a pizza? And so if you learn I don't like pizza, you take me off that list. But so it's an integrity-based platform, and we have a lot of fun with it.
Well, very cool. Well, thanks for taking the time today. I won't take up too much of your time. I know you said you've got it pretty stacked today, but I have really enjoyed talking with you. I hope this isn't the last time we talk.
I enjoy speaking with you as well. And you got my number. Just anytime you let me know what's going on, and I appreciate you.
Okay. Well, next time I'll not wear pants. I'm not promising, but that just sounds too fun to have an interview with no pants on.
You just tell me. I'll see you at the show this Saturday, and we can talk about it then.
Okay, that sounds great.
Sugar Jackyl coming to Oklahoma. Everybody spread the word. We'll see you at the Sugar Creek Casino as Jackyl gets down in the dirt, kicks up some dust with a Jackyl family reunion. Pow.